What is going on, everybody? A2 Angler here, Llama, with the new native TitanX 12.5 on the Yakima trailer, easy rider. This thing is sick. One of the best things I think they've ever invented are these like mounting ports, because you can drill stuff into this mounting port and you're never drilling into the hull ever. And if you screw up, you just buy a new $5 mounting port. Not sure how much they are, but they're definitely not expensive. 10, maybe 5 to 15 is my guess, dollars on the mounting ports. The electronics, first of all, whoever thought of this deserves a raise in and of itself. This is sick because I've got lots of cords, as you can see, from dual graphs, and the live scope can all be run through this spine here, and then they actually have a little notch where all of that runs through and the hole seals on top of it. I'm still figuring out how I want to organize all of that, but they got the live scope right here. It might move up into this compartment. I run the live scope on its own battery here, and then you can see some of this, again, another notch goes down into the hole, and that's where I have my NEMA system. And that connects here to the heading sensor. Okay, so basically this front hatch I've dedicated to electronics. It does have a dedicated battery box in the back, but I'll show you what I'm doing there. This is one of the easiest installs I've ever done. It's not pretty, I can clean it up a lot, but I just want to get out on the water. Nice big hole. Oh yeah, molded in. This is all molded in, and then it has a piece on the bottom here for the transducer. I had a lot of issues looking for how to install the transducer online, but there it is. That's how much it hangs down right now. Try to get a good angle of that. But the big thing I'm worried about that is if it hits the trailer a lot. If not, there's a couple different mounts I can buy. They're all sold out right now. That'll pick that transducer up a little bit more and won't knock. This can come out, and then you have access to this whole front hatch inside, which is really cool. I think one of the other cool things about this kayak that I just have to mention, this is the best example of it right here. You know, they have all these mounting points for you, but I've noticed that every single mounting point, anything that's been drilled on the kayak or anywhere you would need a drill or a screwdriver, you know, these running screws and all that, every single one of them is molded into a mounted screw, or what's it called? I forget what it's called, but there's a mount under this. Each and every single one of these screws has a bolt. I think it's called a bolt. I don't know. I'm not very mechanical myself. But under there is a molded in screw head. So you're not screwing into the plastic. You're never touching this plastic. You're actually screwing into a piece of metal that is mounted into the plastic. And as long as you're careful with the torque, you're not going to mess it up, which I think is awesome. That's so much, it's so nice because I can use, I was on like a 3 or a 5 on the drill, but you can cinch these down tight and not have to worry about stripping into the kayak, which I think is, I mean, that's just genius. That's a premium feature, well worth the money here. The rudder is a little loose, but I got it in there. The cool thing about this rudder is it steers, you know, it steers while you're in there, and then you can drop it down, but it steers as it's up, and it can steer when it's down. So I got to play with that. Here's that dedicated battery box I was talking about. That big difference between the 10 and the 5 is how this battery box operates. It's a little bit bigger, it can store a bigger battery, and it also doesn't sit under the seat. So that is why I went with the 12. See if I can get it open. I just have the seat at a default right now, so I don't, oh, give me a second. These are just initial impressions. I'm gonna make a better video here for you. The seat clips down, which is sweet, but let's scoot it forward a little bit. What am I doing wrong here? Oh, it's stuck on a live scope. I do have to figure out what I'm going to do with the live scope arm, because as you can see, it's just kind of in there right now. There you go. So, biggest difference between the 10 and the 12 here is this battery box and where it sits. I like it because once I figure out where my feet are going to go, and the seat can move frontwards and backwards and whatever, you just spin around and get access to the box. And I have a couple batteries in there. You can obviously hold a lot more or a bigger battery, and then that just kind of tucks down in there. And because this is so big and this covers it, you're never going to get water in there. So that's sweet. You're never going to get water in the hole, never going to get water in the battery box. They just have these latches that are like rubber or something. Those are kind of cool. I like those. It's come with the rod holders and all that. I put on some of the Yakima stuff, or Yakima? No, Yak Attack. And then I got the dual graphs. Dual graphs is sweet. I got one running down imaging, side imaging, and traditional view, and then I got one live scope. And they can both run to the transducer, and all those cables are up front and out of the way. That thing is sweet, and it gives you enough space to lay a net in between. So this is it. That's kind of like the basic rigging. I'm sorry about the traffic. I got that cool bending branches angler paddle, matches the blue. So man, I can't wait to take this out. We'll see what I can do if I get some time today or tomorrow. But I'm gonna give you a full review of this, how this feels on the water. But man, my first impressions are just like hats off. They thought of everything, even that water that comes across the bow and comes off the side there, doesn't drop into there. That's awesome. I have seen a lot of comments about water in the bottom of the boat as you're fishing, but hey, I mean, we're kayak fishermen. You can't handle a little bit of water, you'll be all right. Very, very excited to take this out. This is such a sick ride. Such a sick ride. But you can tell they listen to a lot of input, and not only that, but with the lifetime limited warranty on this hull, it just makes sense. It really does. The plastic is so well molded. I mean, it's just thicker. It's thicker than a Hobie. It's thicker than a Hobie PA, and that'll translate to a bit more durability. It is heavier, but for the weight, you get stability. And I'm super excited to take this out today or tomorrow. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Llama!